Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And today we're going to talk about the Georgia runoffs and the Republican establishment and Donald Trump acknowledging that the Republican establishment is betraying him and how it can affect the Georgia runoffs and future elections. We are going to be talking about that, but first I have to tell you guys about my friends over at Noble Gold. Now, it's not often you get a gift for yourself in the holidays, is it? So how does a free 22-karat American Gold Eagle coin sound? Not bad, huh? A free 22-karat American Gold Eagle coin in a special presentation box. But it's not that simple. To qualify, you have to take it out of Precious Metals IRA or 401k rollover with Noble Gold. It makes a lot of sense right now to keep your savings and investments safe. And who knows what the new administration will do. And because Noble Gold has helped thousands of investors keep their retirement funds safe from Washington, they'll run through your options with no hard sell and help you protect them from being taken. So call 877-646-5347 and get the special coin offer, but don't hang around. That's 877-646-5347. Again, that's 877-646-5347, or submit a request from the link in the description. So looking at Donald Trump today, Donald Trump on Twitter tweeting, this was earlier today, just a couple of hours ago, saying rhinos, Brian Kemp, which is the governor of Georgia, Jeff Duncan, which is the lieutenant governor of Georgia, and Secretary of State of Georgia, Brad Raffensperger, will be solely responsible for the potential loss of our two great senators from Georgia, David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler. Won't call a special session or check for signature verification. People are angry. And this is true. Donald Trump went down there. He held a rally for David Perdue, and he held a rally for Kelly Loeffler. He did that, I believe, on Saturday night. And he had a very, very large crowd. And there were a lot of people that were chanting, "Fight for Trump, fight for Trump." And that is what the mood of the Republican Party is. You have a lot of people that feel like they were screwed over. And you have Republicans that are not willing to stand up for their own interests, and Donald Trump is the only one that seems like he is able to do it. But either way, no matter what happens, Donald Trump is trying to make sure that the Republican Party will hold the Senate in 2020, and if they're able to do that, if a Biden administration does occur, which is not a sure thing, by the way, then any legislation that will be put through by the Democrat House, which is divided within itself, will be dead on arrival, and Biden will not be able to get anything done, and it will doom his presidency if that is the case. Again, you look at the 13 keys, and they do have criticisms of the 13 keys, but there is some merit to them, and one of the major keys is policy wins. I believe Trump got the policy key based off of his tax cuts. If Biden does manage to get elected as president and does take office and gets absolutely nothing done, then he is not going to be favored to be reelected, as no progress will have exactly been made. So Donald Trump is attacking Brian Kemp and several other what he labels as rhinos for them being complicit in the abysmal disaster that happened in Georgia. We all saw the video of the woman at 3 in the morning with her suitcase and her flash drive, and then suddenly, right then and there, you see a massive, statistically impossible rise in a spike in Biden's vote totals, and then you also saw the New York Times needle vastly, mysteriously go from 80% Trump in Georgia to 66% Biden. That kind of changed the mood of election night right there. And it's important that we analyze exactly what happened. It's important that we call an investigation, check for signature verifications, an actual audit. But Brian Kemp doesn't want to do it. The lieutenant governor and secretary of state in Georgia, the whole GOP in Georgia, is in massive shambles right now. They are a disaster, a complete and total disaster. And Donald Trump attacking Brian Kemp has hurt his approval rating. Brian Kemp's approval going from 86% of Republicans just down to 77%. And I think it's lower than that. I think it probably may be in the 50s among Republicans. And overall, that was enough to flip his approval rating from 52% positively to 46%. So that's just a minor dip. I'm sure his approval rating since then has dipped even further. And looking at this, you see that David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler have actually been calling on the state's top election official to resign. They have maintained or improved their standing with GOP voters. So David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler, they are giving people a reason to vote for them. I do not urge people to boycott the runoffs. David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler, if you look at Numbers USA, they both have fairly decent grades on immigration. Loeffler, I do have problems with her. She's a little bit of a swamp creature, and in 2022, I will want her out of there. I will want her primaried. But as for David Perdue, in terms of Perdue versus Ossoff, who is being bankrolled by California and New York and many of these other states trying to impact Georgia, that's a little bit of an issue. And Perdue and Loeffler, the Republicans won both races if you tallied up all the results, but they are going to runoffs. So the Republicans historically in Georgia have been favored in runoffs, potentially. That may be why David Perdue is choosing not to debate, but still, Perdue is stepping on his own shoes here, running this marathon. He's not taking advantage of the opportunities that he needs to do. So it's very possible that this runoff is going to lead to problems for Republicans, and it's partially because of the lack of leadership from the Republican establishment in the state of Georgia, where you have Brian Kemp, Jeff Duncan, and Brad Raffensperger completely messing everything up for the Republican Party in the state and aiding and abetting the problem. Brian Kemp ran as a pro-Trump Republican. He hasn't exactly governed like it as of late, and that is a major, major problem for the Republican Party moving forward, especially one that was brought back and revitalized because of Donald Trump. It wasn't Brian Kemp or John McCain or Mitt Romney or any of these establishment figures that did well in Georgia and Arizona that brought back the Republican Party. It was Donald Trump, make no mistake, by and large. And looking at the metrics that we have here for the Georgia runoff, you can see that David Perdue is losing to Jon Ossoff in a very right-leaning poll. Trafalgar, actually, I think they overestimated Trump in Georgia by 5 points. They overestimated Brian Kemp in Georgia by 10. So I really think polling is dead this cycle. I don't want to look too much into it, but even the right-leaning polls are showing that Perdue may be in some trouble here, and partially that could be because a lot of Republicans feel like they are disillusioned with the establishment as a whole. So it's important that David Perdue and it's important that Kelly Loeffler continue to fight for the president in order for the Republicans to secure a Senate majority instead of stepping over themselves. And you saw this again with David Perdue saying in an interview that he's excited to work with a Biden administration. So they're more excited to work with a Biden administration than fight for our president and movement. By the way, when they say work with a Biden administration, they're not usually talking about working for a middle-class tax cut. They're not talking about working to maybe make a bipartisan health care bill where you can open up the markets more than what we have now. No, they're not talking about that at all. They're talking about mass immigration because it helps the corporations that bankroll their campaigns. It's exactly what they're doing. Now, David Perdue, as I've said, has had a strong record on immigration. As of recently, he has a very good grade from Numbers USA. So I'm not willing to believe that David Perdue was thinking in that mindset when he said this. But still, a lot of people are going to take these statements the wrong way. Obviously, throwing the Senate is probably a dumb idea in the long run. I don't want Kamala Harris to break ties in the Senate. But if Perdue and Loeffler lose, it's going to be because of the Republican Party, because of the Republican establishment, and because they let this happen. Not Donald Trump, but the Republican establishment. It's important that we make a distinguish between Trump and the GOP. Because Donald Trump ran a campaign in 2016 against the establishments of both parties. That's in part why he was able to win. He had his own party against him. He had the Democrat Party against him. He beat them both in 2016. And he may have to do that again in 2022 and 2024, because until then, if he does decide to run again, until then, either way, he is going to be a kingmaker. And now he knows who the real deals are, and he knows who the fakes are. And that's very important moving forward, because Democrats are going to take this opportunity that they have because of the pandemic to alter every single element of American society in their benefit. We look at what the elites in general are doing with the lockdowns. I did a video on that talking about how much it harms the small businesses. But in terms of our electorate, in terms of our voting system, they have a plan. And it's not something that is very comforting to talk about. But Democrats, they are going to use the fact that 2020 had high turnout as an excuse to mandate this wide-scale mail-in voting in the future. And everybody that disagrees with it will be complicit in quote-unquote voter suppression, because they will be de facto lowering turnout in the process. This is exactly how their brains work. This is exactly what they are going to attempt to do in the future. And apparently they believe that just because an election has high turnout, that it's good for the Republic, which which is not true. Again, we don't need people voting that don't know what the hell they're voting for, that don't know their head from their rear end. That's the way it is. But Democrats obviously think differently. All they care about is power. That's why they've pushed mass immigration into this country for the past 55 years, and it's going to continue if we don't do anything about it, but this is crunch time. We've got roughly around 10 years or so to save this republic, to turn it around, and it starts now. And now is time for Republicans to continue to put the country first and hopefully get rid of the Republican establishment. Going forward, 2022 is going to be a very interesting year. We're going to primary every single incumbent that we possibly can who is not America first. 2024 is going to be a massive bloodbath for the GOP establishment as well. And Donald Trump is going to be the kingmaker. And right now he's already becoming the kingmaker. And he's realizing the fact that the Republican establishment is the reason why the Republicans are losing races, not just at the presidential level, but down ballot as well. And Donald Trump, he's still in this fight. And he still has about a week until the Electoral College votes. We'll see what happens. And then he's got until January 6th before the results are completely certified in Congress. So it's going to be an interesting month. And the next month is going to determine the next 4 years. But either way, very interesting to look at, and you're going to see the Republicans start to infight. You have people talking about boycotting the runoff, but no matter what side people are on, largely, the people on the ground, they are doing it in support of President Trump and in support of President Trump's agenda, except for a few grifters that only care about saving the Senate, that are just using Trump as an ability to remain relevant in the Republican Party, because there's many people in the party that continue to use Trump and grift off of him. But besides the point, they're the ones that are abandoning him right now. They're nowhere to be found. But you have many patriots that are out there. You have many patriots that are on the ground. And they're going to be the future of this republic. Make no mistake. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. Become a member, donate to the Patreon, or subscribe. Star links in description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.